The Detroit Lions rookie pass rusher James Houston has taken the league by storm, gathering a league record 8 sacks in his first 7 games in the NFL. Since James Houston's emergence, many have started to question just who may be the next HBCU prospect to be drafted in the later rounds to be a hidden gem in this 2023 NFL draft. Well, in this video, I'm going to provide you all a list of my top 5 HBCU prospects that I believe could specifically help my Carolina Panthers and be the next James Houston. And we're going to get into that right after this.
From the foe, you dig?
Welcome to The Way I See It with Kamari Averitt. This is a Carolina Panthers and Charlotte Hornet fan channel. Please do me a favor by hitting the like button and please make sure you subscribe as I am on my road to 1K. Trying to get this channel monetized. Now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and get to these top 5 prospects. First up, we have Shaq Davis, a.k.a. Baby Megatron, the 6'5", 180-pound wide receiver from Summerville, South Carolina, by way of South Carolina State. In his final year before declaring for the draft, Shaq Davis had 45 catches for 934 yards and 11 touchdowns, averaging 20 yards per catch. He's a 2-time All-MEAC first-team selection. He has an invite to the East-West Shrine Bowl, and he expects to be invited to the NFL Combine. Along with the other players that come from Buddy Pugh's pipeline, Javon Hargraves, Darius Leonard, Jacoby Durant, and 4 other current NFL players, Shaq Davis looks to become famous for being in the NFL just as much as he was for giving Deion Sanders and Jackson State 3 touchdowns in the Celebration Bowl. So I believe Shaq Davis would be a super welcome addition as a big body receiver for my Carolina Panthers, and I would love to see him drafted in the later rounds. So let's go ahead and get that done, Federer. Number 4 on the top 5 HBCU draft prospect list for 2023, we have Jackson State senior linebacker Aubry Miller. Now, Aubry Miller is 6'2", 225 pounds, and he is from Memphis, Tennessee, by way of Jackson State. Coming out of high school, Aubry Miller was the 9th rated linebacker in the state of Tennessee and the 12th overall player. In his senior year at Jackson State, Aubry Miller won the SWAC Defensive Player of the Year as well as the Buck Buchanan Award for the best defensive player in the FCS. He had 92 tackles, 5 forced fumbles, 2 sacks, 15 QB pressures, 6 QB hits, and boasts an 84.4 PFF grade. He was the best player on the best defense in the FCS, and that earned him an invite to the Reese's Senior Bowl. Aubry Miller would be an absolute welcome addition to any team in the NFL as he is a finisher, a thumper, and he is somebody that is a sure tackler. When he gets his hand on you, there are no broken tackles. Aubry Miller is a beast, and I would love to see my Carolina Panthers take a chance on him in the later rounds and bring him to Carolina and see what he can do in the pro level. So with that being said, Aubry Miller is number 4 on this list. Coming in at number 3 on this list, we have Mark Evans II, offensive lineman, University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Mark Evans II is 6'4", 295 pounds from Houston, Texas. When he was coming out of high school, I could not find any information on where he was ranked. As you know, the state of Texas is filled with immense talent from top to bottom. Now, during his 4 years at UAPB, he earned himself 4 first-team All-SWAC selections, and in playing nearly 1,900 offensive snaps, Mark Evans II only allowed 5 sacks in 4 years. Now, this most previous year, his senior year, he was the recipient of the Phil Steele Offensive Lineman of the Year Award for the best offensive lineman in the FCS. In this upcoming year, Mark Evans looks to improve his draft stock to be the highest drafted offensive lineman since Titus Howard from Bama State, or Teron Armstead from his own alma mater, UAPB, those two guys coming from the HBCU ranks. Last year, Mark Evans had a draft grade that was actually higher than Jatari Carter, who got drafted from Southern University to the Chicago Bears. But Evans decided to take his talents back to UAPB for his senior year, where he shined once again. In his senior year, he has eclipsed and he has earned himself invites to the East-West Shrine Game, the HBCU Legacy Bowl, as well as the NFL Combine. He looks to be a mid-second or third day pick, and any team that grabs Mark Evans will be very lucky to have him in their ranks. My Carolina Panthers could definitely use him to bolster our offensive line depth, as we saw what a revelation Bradley Bozeman was coming in behind our starting center this year. Anybody that can add depth to an offensive line is a valuable piece, and I would love to see Mark Evans in a Carolina Panthers uniform. Coming in at number 2 on the list, we have Xavier X-Man Smith, the 5'10", 170-pound wide receiver from Haines City, Florida, by way of FAMU. Now, when he was coming out of high school, like others, he and his rank were unclear because the state of Florida has an immense level of talent, just like the state of Texas. But in 4 years at FAMU, X-Man was able to put up 2 1,000-yard seasons, and he never had a season with less than 650 yards. In this most recent year, his senior season, X-Man had 87 catches for 1,021 yards and 11 touchdowns. Per game, he averaged 8 receptions and 93 yards. He's a 2-time All-SWAC First Team Award recipient, and he has received an invite to the NFL Collegiate PA Bowl, and he is hopeful to be a recipient of an invite to the NFL Combine. Now, Xavier Smith has the body type of a guy that we already have on the team, being Shi Smith. But he is a lot more electric, he is a lot faster, and in my opinion, he would outplay Shi Smith any day of the week. So with that being said, Panthers Nation, if we have the ability to draft this guy in the 5th to 7th round, there is no reason why we would be able to take a chance on Shi Smith, but we see a guy this electric with this ability and not be able to at least take a flyer on him. So Xavier Smith, I hope to see you in a Carolina Panthers uniform, and that is going to bring us to the top prospects. Now for number 1 and the bona fide top dog, most anticipated HBCU prospect of this year, we have Kamari Averitt, tight end out of Bethune-Cookman. Now Kamari is 6'6", 250 pounds from Atlanta, Georgia. Now, in 2017, he was the 26th ranked tight end in the state of Georgia and the 62nd overall player in the state of Georgia. During his first 2 years of college ball, he actually accepted and played 2 years in the Power 5 with Louisville, actually playing and catching a touchdown pass from Lamar Jackson in his freshman year. After moving on from Louisville to Bethune-Cookman, in his first year, he was 5th in total receiving yards in the SWAC, 3rd in TDs, and no other player on his team was even in the top 25. So he, by himself gaining all the attention, was still able to dominate every single defense that he went against. In his final year, though it may be assumed to be a down year, he was 11th in total yards, but still 3rd in total touchdowns with 7, averaging almost 1 a game in the games that he did play. Now, during his time in the SWAC, Kamari Averitt is a 2-time All-SWAC First Team member, and he has been an absolute dominant force as the singular force that Bethune-Cookman has had on the offensive side of the ball for the last 2 years. With my Carolina Panthers struggling to find an effective pass-catching tight end since the departure of Greg Olsen, Kamari Averitt and his Kyle Pitts-like body type would be a very effective addition to the NFC South. And I believe in less than a year or so, Kamari Averitt could be a guy that many would deem to be the best prospect currently, or the best player from an HBCU in the NFL, as I believe he could be better than James Houston and possibly challenge for the level of Darius Leonard, but only on the offensive side of the ball. And with that being said, man, that brings me to the end of the list. What do you all think about this list? What do you think about these prospects? How high of a ceiling do you think a few of these guys may have? And would you like to see them on your team? I know a lot of my followers mainly are Carolina Panthers fans. What's up, y'all? Would y'all like to see him on the roster, especially Zay? I truly do believe that he's better than Shaq Smith. But with that being said, man, that is the video. You all leave your comments down below. I am Jamario Rashad. This is the way I see it, and I'm out. Make sure you subscribe. I'm almost to 1K. I'm almost there.